Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Innovation Podcast, your source for all things innovation. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today is a very special Reunion 2020 episode. What is that? That's when I had a guest on the show in the past, and I liked him so much I had to bring him right on back. So today's special return guest is Ander Vazquez, and he's a Director of Sales Development over at Invoca. Ander, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you so much for having me back.
Man, so good to have you back. It's like I got the whole podcast family. We're all back together again and catching up, and I'm excited about today's topic. So we're going to get into the future of high-tech startups. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into, I don't want to assume that all of our new listeners caught your first episode, so let's talk a little bit more about what you're doing over at Invoca. Tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Just as a quick recap. The company I work for, Invoca, we are a tech startup focused on conversational analytics. And what that means is anytime you call into a business, for example, Dish Network is one of our customers. They handle millions of phone calls per year. And it's our product helps them figure out at scale what is being said across all their phone conversations so they can digitize that data and use it for purposes of marketing or just to understanding what is going on with their customers. Marketers are brilliant at using information that is digitally available to make smart, informed decisions. But when it comes to traditional phone calls, we're still living in the era of Alexander Graham Bell. So what my company does is helps digitize all that information to make good use of it, and we use artificial intelligence. So it's a very cool product that is on the cutting edge. And it's my team's job to alert people of that use and to help them embed it into their day-to-day operations.
No, I love it, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted you on the show for this topic, because you're right in the middle of that whole kind of startup or tech world. So that being said, let's just get right into today's topic. So the future of high-tech startups, I mean, where do you want to start with this? Where are you seeing some changes?
All right, well, as you guys might have heard, there's a bit of a shift in the world recently.
For sure.
And that has forced companies to adapt, across all verticals, across all sectors, in a very interesting way. But one of the trends that I find fascinating, as we're looking at the landscape of high tech companies, right now we're pretty much in a land rush to acquire market share. It's typically the companies that are first to establish a large market share, those that become the multi-billion-dollar behemoths. So all startups by nature, we try to use investor money, venture capitalist money, to grow the company as fast as possible, obviously in a responsible way. But knowing that the more users you get up front, the larger the chance of you turning into a multi-billion-dollar company down the road. So if you look at companies like Salesforce, even Facebook, just any software as a service model, the mandate has always been grow as fast as you can. And what's happening is now with COVID and the pandemic, it's forced everybody to look at their books and reassess the marketplace. And we're going from a stance of let's grow as fast as we can to get to the leadership stage to, oh my God, like things have changed significantly. And most startups, I mean, this is not a secret, but most startups run at a deficit of cash. And that's where you see the big runs of funding coming through. But now that the world has shifted, we and many companies are going from an offensive stance to a defensive stance. And specifically in the SaaS model, where it is very expensive to acquire your first set of customers. And many times you don't even make money on customers until after year one. that process of acquiring a customer just becomes far less effective, a far less effective use of capital. So one of the things that we're doing, I know several other companies are doing it, but I'm actually very, very proud of the way that our executive team has led the transitions. We were able to shift into a defensive stance very quickly. And so, for example, I run the sales development team. We have 25 very bright young people who are going out there and canvassing the marketplace. Well, guess what? Our product is still incredibly useful, but the market is not receptive to a sales conversation right now. I mean, they will be down the road as things settle down. But what we were able to do is we were able to pivot and shift some of our resources into more of a defensive stance where we can actually show our existing customer base more love. We can get them more out of their existing product. We're dedicating more human capital as well as technology power. Some customers were turning on features to say, hey, you can do this. Try it right now. And so that's enabling us to have better conversations, better use with our time, while not having to at least have the knee-jerk reaction, which I've already seen a lot of companies laying people off because of these market conditions. And like we're very lucky. We have a phenomenal CEO in Greg Johnson, and we were able to make the decisions. Okay, let's just take the excess resources that we have in people, give them to our existing customers, give them more love so they can get more resources out of their existing subscription with us. And so that has made an existing fundamental shift in the mindset for the whole company in terms of how we operate and how we grow, which will help us. I mean, we still don't know how everything's going to play out, but we think that this strategy is going to help us weather out of the storm and come out in a much stronger position, while help us maintain, just a healthy cash position and keep our growth capital aligned to the market conditions.
Man, I love the thought process, and I've seen I think a lot of the companies that do weather this storm, and which nobody could see obviously coming on. I think a lot of the companies that are doing exactly what you're doing, thinking about how do they provide more value, thinking about their existing customers, thinking about how they can help them weather the storm, right? Because ultimately that's what your product's doing, is helping your clients, or they wouldn't be with you. I mean, so all these different things just add up to, in my opinion, just a better business ecosystem when we get through all this stuff, right? When we get through all this, we're at the other side, we're like, wow, so we learned a lot through this, and kind of the ecosystem in general can just be stronger.
Yeah, 100%. And, crises precipitate change. And, a lot of these technology companies they are a platform to become far more efficient, right? In whatever, in the Invoca example, we help marketers get more out of their paid media budgets. Whatever. There's 1,000 different companies that do very cool things. But when you think of how technology can help you get to the next level of your growth in a much faster and much more efficient basis, a lot of times that resistance is there because people are used to the same process that works. And, keeping on the same process will give you linear growth. But having a fundamental shift, whether it's technology or a different process, will give you that exponential growth, right? And so I know I'm going to speak specifically with marketers because that's our target audience at Invoca. But if a marketer needs to get 50% more efficient with their marketing budgets, they can do a little bit here and there by tweaking a campaign or looking at results. But in order to get that just huge shift, they're going to have to do big things in terms of their technology or just how they run things. And so this is a really good opportunity. And the conversations we're having with our prospects and customers is like, okay, well, yeah, this period right now is going to suck, but we have this window to really change our process and implement something that is going to make us far stronger down the road. So that is something that I am constantly evaluating with my team. How do we do this internally? How do we get more out of our team? And so So a lot of these tech companies are going to have a big advantage when the presentation of that change has to take place, as VPs and CEOs are looking to say, how do I get way more out of what we have? So technology will be a very key component in making that happen. Just the trick is figuring out how do you navigate that process in the middle of this storm that we're all going through.
Man, that's awesome. So, Ander, you already know when you and I get talking, we can go on all day long, but we're about out of time for this episode. That being said, if somebody's listening and they want more information on Invoca or to connect, what's the best way for them to reach out?
All right. Well, yeah, we have a ton of very interesting resources. I definitely recommend that people visit the Invoca blog at invoca.com. We have tons of really cool articles about just the future of artificial intelligence and marketing. For me personally, the best way to get a hold of me is through my LinkedIn profile. Actually, I have a shortcut at sdrmanager.com. Will take you to my profile. My email is ander@ander.io. You should be in up there. Always happy to make new connections, meet new people, and just build relationships.
Awesome. Well, hey, Ander, thank you again for coming back for this reunion 2020 episode. Can't wait to have you back on in 2021, see what's going on then and see how everybody weathered the storm. But thanks again for coming on. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Innovation, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments on the video. Love to know what kind of things and projects you're working on, and connect with you there. And Ander, thanks again for coming on the show.